I mean, he's so blatantly stupid. He's a punk. He's a dog. He's a pig. He's a con, a bullshit artist, a mutt who doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't do his homework, doesn't care, thinks he's gaming society, doesn't pay his taxes. He's an idiot. Colin Powell said it best. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. It makes me so angry that this country has gotten to this point, that this fool, this bozo, has wound up where he has. He talks how he wants to punch people in the face. Well, I'd like to punch him in the face. This is somebody that we want for president? I don't think so. What I care about is the direction of this country. And what I'm very, very worried about is that it might go in the wrong direction with someone like Donald Trump. If you care about your future, vote for it.
Notice with all the movies you're doing that we're in the middle of a general election?
Yeah, of course. It's tough not to.
Where are you with all of this?
Well, look, as an American and one who goes abroad, I mean, in the last 2 weeks, I've been on 4 continents. I mean, every customs agent around the world, when they see your passport and they check you in, they ask about Trump. They go, what is going? Is that real? You know, they're kind of bewildered by the entire thing, and I have to admit, I am too. He never struck me as a particularly serious guy, and I mean, he's very entertaining, but I'm kind of amazed that we arrived at this point, and you know, and I'm concerned. Brexit concerned me. When that happened, I went, oh man, like Trump actually could win, and the implications of that I think are real. I don't believe he has the temperament, you know. And I have a lot of Republican friends, and a lot of my Republican friends I wish were the Republican nominees. But
how did they feel about Trump themselves then?
I think it varies. I think, look, there is this anger and this very real feeling that the system's rigged against the everyday person, and Trump is almost like a protest vote. Like, I want to vote against all of you in Washington. I'm voting against all of you, and I understand that impulse and that rage. But to think about the practicality of like that you know, governance and like what that would require, and I mean, just this thing he did yesterday about saying Russia released the emails. I mean, it's just like, you know. I mean, and Mike Pence instantly was like, we do not condone, like, you know. Right. I mean, so I think it makes me nervous.
So he could be running your country. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's a scary proposition, but I don't think that's really in the cards. At the end of the day, I have faith in the United States of America public, voting public, that they're going to be a little more level-headed. Because he's like a child. You're not going to vote for the child to run the show.
But when you see the footage that we saw over the weekend, I mean, do you get concerned about the underbelly in the US that seems to be emerging as a result of Trump?
There does seem to be a lot of rage, you know, but you look around the world, there's a lot of rage, and it comes, you know, there's things bubble up when there's inequality in the working class of America and around the world. But yeah, at the end of the day, you gotta believe that people are going to vote for someone who's more level-headed and more responsible, maybe a little more intelligent. Am I right? This guy's just a hothead, and he's a billionaire. And how can you trust that he's not going to just be looking out for number one, as he always has?
I can feel the rage within you.
Yeah, you feel rage within me.
Rage.
I'm not. Look, I'm a lover. I'm an artiste.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because we're not going to be used. Fear is not going to be something that we're going to. That's going to be what drives our country. We're not going to be scared of Muslims or immigrants or, you know, women. We're not actually afraid of anything. So, you know, we're not going to use fear. So that's not going to be an issue. I think it is. If you're asking if it's a harbinger, I think that. You know, and I think you would agree, and I think we all sort of see it. I think that's sort of landed in a way. Trump is actually a result, in many ways, of the fact that much of the news programs didn't follow up and ask tough questions. That's the truth. It was, you know, it's really easy because your numbers go up. All these cable news numbers, there's 24-hour news doesn't mean you get more news. It just means you get the same news more. So the more and more and more you hear, you know, these guys, you know, the ratings go up because they can show an empty podium saying Donald Trump is about to speak, you know, as opposed to taking those 30 seconds and saying, well, let's talk about refugees, which is the biggest crisis that's going on in our country, in the
Stephen
world.
Hawking may understand theoretical physics and cosmology, but can he explain the rise of Donald Trump?
I can't. He is a demagogue who seems to appeal to the lowest common denominator.
Trump was a small part of the renowned scientist's interview on ITV, but Hawking's negative view can't be good for the presumptive GOP nominee. A refresher for those of us not quite as whip-smart as Hawking: a demagogue is a political leader who tries to get support by making false claims and promises, and using arguments based on emotion rather than reason. Yeah, not a great name to be called by someone whose job relies on reason.
Since we know how you really feel, it's how we feel. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, nigga, fuck Donald Trump. How you gonna have how you gonna have your wife get at Michelle Obama, nigga? Fuck you, nigga. Now I'm on the mission too. Yeah, nigga. Yeah, nigga, fuck Donald Trump. We ain't voting for your punk ass. Go get you a new hairdo, you bitch ass nigga. I like white folks, but I don't like you. All the niggas in the hood wanna fight you.
Is working for itself and not for the people at the bottom. Now, I think the same thing is behind Trump, to be honest with you. I think a lot of people feel let down by the whole sort of Republican and Democrat political system, and they see Trump as, for all his flaws, a breath of fresh air.
Is it conceivable that Trump could win?
I think he could win, absolutely. And I think he could win because I think there's Trump supporters out there who aren't even revealing themselves as such. So yeah, and for me that's a scary prospect because I think he'd be a disastrous president.